Christian Union leadership training is a very, very important area. And if you really want young people to be peer counselors, helping one another to grow so that they will be the kind of leaders that will influence our nation with positive values, we must of necessity put a lot of effort in the training of the youth on how to lead. Some of the issues that we must of necessity spend time on is let the student know how they can pass their values on to others. That is included in the topic of witnessing to others, letting others who have different values start understanding why it will be critical for them to change their values and have the biblical values. How do you do it? I think that will be quite important for somebody to think about it. And it will also be important after teaching them about passing values to the rest of the student body who are not interested in the CU, they are not part of the CU. I think the other thing you must teach them, why does the Christian Union exist? It's a second topic, just tell them why the CU exists. Because if you're asking them to be leaders and they don't even understand why the CU exists, they may not fight hard to retain it because they don't feel like they can. It's a critical element. And it will be very important we spend time. If you are training in a leader, let him understand what's the vision of the organization that he needs to be helping the group to accomplish. So in Christian Union leadership, I think the first thing is to say, what is the Christian Union? Why does it actually exist? And that will be something that is critical for you to train them on. Thirdly, I think it will be important to teach them the importance of leading by example. Teach them about how you can influence people by the way you live, by the kind of life you are leading, and how you act impacts on the school, on the Christian Union itself, on the non-Christians. I'm calling it leading by example. It's a topic that would be good for every CU leader to actually understand. They should not be the type of people who say, do as I say, not as I do. For the CU leader who truly is committed to seeing the CU reach its objectives, it will be important that they say, do as I say, and also do as I do, so that there is nothing about them that is suspect. They are not involved in situational ethics where they behave one way in one situation and behave a different way in a different situation. I think it will be an important thing to think about and deal with as part of the training of the young people. So the 3 topics so far, you teach them what the CU is all about, why does it exist. Then you teach them how to influence other people with the gospel, passing on values, biblical values to the rest of the school. Then you teach them how they can achieve that by example, leadership by example, and that will be quite important. Then the 4th topic that would be good is how to prepare a CU program. You can't assume that the guy who just left primary and now is in the committee understands how to prepare a program, how to come up with a theme for the term, how to come up with topics, how to look for speakers. That will be an important area that needs to be dealt with as you deal with in the student leadership training. I think it will be important to deal with it. and ask yourself, is that something that you actually know? If you're a trainer, do you really know how to prepare a program? Then number 5, I think it's important to teach them about how to prepare, how to raise funds, how to use funds, how to keep records of funds, and how to be good stewards of any funds the Christian Union is able to raise, either from the students or gifts from others. They need to understand that the money cannot be mixed with their personal money, that the Christian Union money is different. And if you don't tell them, they'll soon discover that they are mixing the monies, and there's a lot of confusion. And if then once people become suspicious of how you are using their money, giving becomes a little more difficult. You'll discover even as a teacher that used to help the CU now doesn't want his money misused, so he will not even give any. And the CU could ground to a halt just because they don't know how to keep account. They are not even stealing, but they don't know how to keep account, so they lose money without understanding. As the money mixes with the money, they can't give a proper report, and that will be important. And we could also come to teach them something about strategic planning. How can they think in terms of long term, not just one term alone? Think about the year, think about 4 years. What is it you like to achieve in a Form 1 by the time they leave Form 4? In the 4-year program that's called high school, what is a strategic plan? What is it you want to? So you have clarity of the vision, teaching them about how to have clarity of the vision, clarity of the mission, clarity of the core values, and clarity of the strategies they are likely to use. And I think that will be important as an issue to raise, helping people not only to do a program for the term, but to think long term and then answer the question, how does this term's program help me to achieve the overall long-term program? So the two must go together. And then there is the issue of collaboration. In other words, you need to teach them the importance of working with others, not becoming a lone ranger, and the challenges that the CU will have if the chairman or the secretary becomes a lone ranger. I think it will be important to teach them about the importance of working in groups and working in committees. How does a committee work? What's the role of the chairman? What's the role of the committee? What's the role of the annual general meeting? Who has which powers? What is it that chairman can do without the permission of the committee? What is it the committee has to do in order to help the chairman achieve his purpose? I think all that will be important. How to lead in a group, and how to be part of the leadership group. And I think that will be important. What about problem solving? I think it would be a good thing to share with students, so that they can actually say they have thought about the problems, and they're able to identify problems, and they're able to sort out the problems. Problem solving, I think, will be a good thing to teach the leaders of the Christian Union, and I think that's one of the things. But then we also need to talk about the role of the patron. The CU leadership needs to understand what the role of their patron. Of course, you need also to teach the patron what it is you are telling the students. But the students also need to know what must they go to their patron for help about, and how do they involve their patron in the running of the Christian Union without asking him to take over the Christian Union. I think that will be something that will be important for you to help. So it will be critical that you as a person who is thinking about improving the Christian Union, that you help the student to understand what are the challenges and what are the things that need to be done. So by the end of the training you have given them, they understand themselves, they understand their target audience, and they understand the school administration and how they relate with it. And when you do something like that, it will help them to see what it is that will assist them, create the climate. Once in a while, you may also need to teach them how to do a SWOT analysis. What is a SWOT analysis? It's thinking about the internal strengths and weaknesses of the organization. And they look at this, the vision, this what we want to achieve long term. What are the likely strengths we already have, we should be utilizing in order to arrive at that overall theme. Then you look at, again, this is where you want to achieve, but what are the internal challenges, weaknesses that will make it difficult for us to arrive where we want to go? And once you identify, you also ask, what can we do to manage the weaknesses? What can we do to fully utilize the strength? That is the internal one. Then you look externally. That's what we are talking about in the SWOT analysis, is opportunities and threats. What in the environment can threaten the Christian Union? For example, if you have a volatile board of management of the school, if you have a headmistress who is unhappy about the Christian Union, those are external to the Christian Union, but they are threats. But there are also opportunities. There are people who are outside the Christian Union, and you can see them as able to add value to the Christian Union. And so you see them as possible people to help. These are opportunities. Or is there a program in the school how can that program be used to help the Christian Union? Certain rules about clubs, what are they? Or again, maybe you have a headmaster who was a Christian Union chairman long time ago. That is an opportunity from outside, because since he understands the challenges of the CU, you can go to him for advice. And because he really would want the CU to succeed, that will be something. So ability, you need to teach the student the ability to see this external environment and identify opportunities. But I think it will also be important to teach him to identify threats. When it's an opportunity, it means it's not current. There's nothing, you are not doing anything about it currently, most likely. So it's an outside thing. It's something you can do into the future. When it's a threat, it has not actually worked against you yet, but you can see one of these days it will work. Why is it important to identify both? Because once you can see a threat and there is a likelihood one day it might affect the Christian Union, then you start asking, how can I defend myself from it? How can I ensure it never threatens the Christian Union? And you will come up with the policies and ideas that are likely to help the Christian Union. The same thing with opportunities, the same thing with the threats. The reason you want to know them is so that on a longer term basis, you are able to suggest things for the Christian Union and for those who are going to lead after you that they need to do in order to ensure they don't suffer the threat, and why they are able to utilize the opportunities that are there. So that's what we call leadership training, Christian Union leadership training syllabus, or the things we need to cover if we are going to make a better Christian Union and better prepare the students. They now can handle the meetings, they can handle the the committees, and they can handle the monies, and they can run the CU in a better way.